Hi, I'm Stephanie Jaworski from joybaking.com. Today we're going to make chocolate chip cookies. We need to first preheat our oven to 375 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 190 degrees Celsius, and then take 2 baking sheets and line them with parchment paper, or you can just butter them or spray them with a nonstick vegetable spray. To begin chocolate chip cookies, we will need 1 cup, that's 226 grams of unsalted butter. Now normally, I would say to have your butter at room temperature, and that is because we chill the batter until firm. But if you're like me, the only time I make chocolate chip cookies is when my kids come into the kitchen and say, "Mom, I want chocolate chip cookies, when will they be done?" So I've had to come up with a way that I don't have to chill the batter. And what I've done is I just take the butter cold from the fridge, and then I just microwave it for about 10 seconds, 10 to 15 seconds, just to get the chill off of it. So if you can see, it's still very firm. And that way I can just bake the cookies right away, so the kids will only have like 20 minutes to wait from start to finish. So what we're going to do is put the butter into the mixer, and if you don't have a stand mixer like this, just use an electric hand mixer with a large bowl. So I'm just going to beat this until it's smooth and creamy, a minute or two at medium high speed. And if you have to scrape down the bowl, because it kind of gets caught in the beater, especially because it's quite cold. Just scrape it down as you need to. Okay, that's good. So let's scrape down. As you can see, it's still, the butter is still quite cold, and that's how we want it here. And then I'm going to add to that 3/4 of a cup of granulated white sugar, that's 150 grams, and 3/4 of a cup of light brown sugar, it's 160 grams. And then I'm just going to add at the same time 1½ teaspoons of pure vanilla extract. Try to use the pure, because that is much better flavor than the imitation ones. So we're only going to beat this until it's incorporated and a little fluffy. You don't want to get too much air in a cookie batter. It's not like a cake where you beat it for a long time to get lots of air in there. We're just beating mainly to get all the ingredients mixed together. Okay. Scrape down the sides. Next, we're going to add 2 large eggs, one at a time. Just beat that in and then add the second egg. And now, in a separate bowl, I've placed 2 1/4 cups of white all-purpose flour. That's 295 grams. And then I'm going to add to that 1 teaspoon of baking soda and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Now we do this in a separate bowl because we want to make sure that that baking soda is really whisked into the flour, because we don't want clumps of baking soda in our batter, and then it'd be very bitter tasting if you bite into that if there's a clump. So I'm just going to add that. And then about halfway through mixing that, I'm going to add, now you can add between like a cup to 2 cups actually of chocolate chips. You can semi-sweet, bittersweet, depending on how much chocolate chips you want in your cookies. My kids like about a cup in this batter. And then if you want, you can also add a cup of coarsely chopped pecans or walnuts if you like that. But again, my kids aren't crazy about nuts, so I'm not going to add it here. Okay, and I'm just going to gradually pour in the chocolate chips. Just going to scrape down. Okay, so we're done. Just remove that. Now, take my baking sheet. Now, another way that I can have the cookies bake off and not spread. Like, the problem with chocolate chip cookies a lot of times is they spread and then the edges burn and the inside is not quite done. So what I do is use an ice cream scoop, and that kind of compacts the batter so that when they bake, they don't spread as much. Now, this one's about 2 tablespoons. If you don't, just use 2 spoons. You can use that as well, but I like the ice cream scoop, and this is about 2 tablespoons of batter that will hold. Now, if you want large ones, I've used up to 1/4 cup. Sometimes the kids want really big chocolate chip cookies. And you just have to bake them longer if you use a bigger scoop. Okay. So I'm just going to, I don't put too many, I'll give them lots of room in case they do spread. As you can see, using one of these handy ice cream scoops makes it really easy. And the other thing is, all your cookies will be uniform in size. So the baking time won't vary. All the same shape. So the kids will just fight over which ones have more chocolate chips than other ones. Okay. So I just lightly press down the tops and put these in the oven. Take about 10, maybe 12 minutes, depending on your oven. And of course, depending on, some people like their chocolate chip cookies a little underdone, so then bake them a little less. If you like them quite crisp all the way through, bake them a little longer. Okay. just cool the cookies in the pan for a couple of minutes and then transfer to a wire rack to finish cooling. These are really good warm from the oven, but they can also be covered and stored at room temperature for several days. So until next time, I'm Stephanie Jaworski from JoyBaking.com.